You've spoken at World Economic Forum multiple times.
Sure.
You've you're a New York Times bestseller. You've sat down with a lot of different people. You've been shown in many different meetings with some people that would be considered globalists. You know, some people would consider them deep state and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Do you believe at this phase in 2025, with what we saw the last 4 years, do you believe there is such thing as a deep state, or you think that's just a term that's thrown around as a fear porn word?
Like all of these things, they resonate because the basis of the argument has some truth in it. So if you ask me, is there a deep state in the sense that there are people at the World Economic Forum or the Council of Foreign Relations or the Bilderberg Group, all of which I have attended, right, that are actually that have their hands on the levers of power and are strategically figuring out, here is how we're going to manipulate and stay in power? No. These organizations have virtually no power in and of themselves, and they serve as networking organizations to help people get deals done.
You think Klaus Schwab is a good guy?
I didn't say that. I said that that wasn't the question you asked. Klaus Schwab is someone I know and have known for a long time. He is not someone that I would say is a warm, fuzzy, classical liberal, care about everybody in the world. The fact is that I wrote a book, not my latest one, but 2 books ago, called Us Versus Them, The Failure of Globalism. I think globalism has utterly failed in the United States and around the world. A large number of incredibly wealthy people that have bought access to power have used that to advance their own interests against the interests of people that are now saying, we're not going to tolerate that anymore. I think that's an incredible, incredible injustice. So I'm not a globalist. I believe in globalization because in the last 50 years, we've managed to reduce poverty and increase a global middle class that can actually live longer. We've managed to educate women. We've managed to urbanize. We've managed to reduce infant poverty. We educate people. Those are all great things. Globalization is wonderful. I love the fact that people and goods and services and ideas move faster and faster around the world, and that people like you and I, our families, can get the hell out of where we were and make something of ourselves. I believe in all of that. But globalism, the idea that if you can get your hands on power, you can promote these things and not care about the people in your own country, I don't accept that at all. At all. But my point is, because you asked me about the deep state, you didn't ask me about, is Klaus Schwab a good guy? The deep state is true insofar as there are a class, a tiny class of people that don't care whether it's Democrats or Republicans. They will find a way to ensure that they are close to power and that they are using that to get outcomes that benefit them and not outcomes that are free and fair competition in a well-regulated free market. And who gets screwed? The average American gets screwed.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
So is that a deep state? I would argue that is a component that's a kleptocratic, oligarchical system. It's a little bit like Berezovsky in the early go-go Russian days. Was Berezovsky and Yeltsin, were they good for the average Russian citizen? After the Soviet Union collapsed? No, it was a disaster for them. They managed to take the wealth of the country and put it in their own pockets.
So deep state. Let's stay on that, and then we'll go to Klaus Schwab. So let's talk about deep state. So you think, yes, probably there's a deep state on both sides. Fair. Okay. So the question that I would ask when I think about the deep state, people that don't want to give up the card, right? The control card, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
Mitch McConnell.
Mark Zuckerberg.
I would put the politician guys first. Let's go McConnell's, Schumer's, Pelosi's, some of those guys that like to have the power and the control, right? So put them there. The story that came out with Barry Weiss and Speaker Johnson, I don't know if you saw that, where she's doing a podcast with Speaker Johnson, and he says, for 9 weeks, I'm the Speaker of the flipping House, and I'm trying to get a meeting with Joe Biden. Everybody tell me he's not.
I remember that. Yep.
Yeah. He's busy.
Couldn't get the meeting. Couldn't get the meeting. They're protecting him.
What are you talking about?
They're protecting him. Yeah.
He's like, hey, President, you signed. I never signed that. What do you mean you didn't sign this? You signed this You signed this.
Look,
I
was at the NATO 75th anniversary in Washington. I met with world leaders that told me in their meetings with Biden didn't recognize them. I mean, it was extraordinary that Biden still was running for president at that point is extraordinary. Obviously, there were people around him that were doing everything possible to ensure that the actual state of his health on a day-to-day basis was obscured from the rest of the world. I accept that. No
Right.
question.
So, but when you have that, and then he says, we're sitting in the office, and he says, who's in the room? Hakeem Jeffries, I think he said. He said Kamala Harris and one other name, Schumer. He said, can you guys give me a few minutes to talk to the speaker? And they almost didn't want to leave.
Yeah,
So
and they did. And they left,
They
and he
did,
spoke with Johnson directly.
So the deep state, okay, if you sit there and you think about the deep state, again, go to a DeSantis. If DeSantis was in and he's dealing with that, you think he's going to be helping those guys out?
Helping the Democrats?
No, the deep state. Whoever, you think the deep state's going to like him? You think the deep state's going to? You think the deep state would like a DeSantis?
Absolutely.
Tell me why.
Well, I mean, I think about
more than they would like a Trump.
More than they would like a Trump. It's interesting. Trump is more transactional and more pay for play. So if you're someone like Jeff Yass, he will flip on TikTok because you've given money to his campaign. So, I mean, in a way that I think DeSantis would be less overtly transactional. I think that's a fair point you make. But, I mean, if I think about how comfortable an awful lot of big donors are with all of these people, I mean, it is true that more billionaires, a larger number of billionaires, gave money to Harris than gave money to Trump. That's certainly true. But, you know, if you ask me how the American system feels broken, it's not because we're becoming a dictatorship. It's because special interests with a lot of money ensure that they pay for almost every congressional race, House and Senate, Democrat and Republican, and the presidential race, and it's $3 billion, and it takes 24 months, and it's a subversion of democracy. And the idea that that's true only of one party, not the other, is insane. It's insane. So we all know that, I mean, like, no matter who comes in, you know, the people that are doing really, really well in the United States keep on keeping on.
The comparison is not even close, though. If you look at the money that goes from special interest to the left and the right, it's not even close. Have you ever looked at the numbers?
Have
you seen what kind of numbers are being raised? Have you seen how much money a Trump raised versus a Biden? Have you seen how much of a Trump raised versus a Kamala? Have you seen where $1.5 billion for Kamala in a span of 6 months disappeared, and, you know, celebrities are getting paid?
I certainly saw how much more Harris was able to raise in this last cycle than Trump did. But if you look at Senate races for Democrats and Republicans across the board, I think those numbers are pretty comparable, and those are big races.
I'm not. But when you, I'm talking specifically.
But you were asking about DeSantis, so I mean, I'm just saying DeSantis raised a lot of money, right?
He did raise a lot of money, but I'm going back to the idea why is it that special interest groups, like if you go to Rob, can you pull up presidential campaign contributions, like how much they've raised by president? When you see Biden's number, I mean, go to images if you could. By president. Yeah. I don't think that's the one. There's one that shows how much each of them raised.
I think Brandon may have sent it to me.
And Biden's number is astronomical on what he raised. They're not giving the money to him because they believe on how great of a speech he gives and how great he's going to negotiate. Yeah.
Again, I would compare the United States with any other advanced industrial democracy. You look at the Republicans, you look at the Democrats, and you would say, wow, the United States is so out of whack compared to every other country. You know, you have an election in Canada and you're talking about raising, like, you know, sort of tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Germany, I have friends that are running in Germany right now. These are tiny, tiny races. And you're not able to self-fund in the way you can in the United States.
Okay, so check this out.
Yeah,
Watch this. Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you zoom in a little bit?
Yes.
So check this out. 84. Yeah. Who runs in 84? Okay, 84 is Reagan. Yeah. 77 million versus 149. Yep. Go to 88. Okay, he's running on a second term. Of course, he's going to raise more money because he's on a second term. 92. Yep. Bush Sr., okay, the VP becomes a president. 96, Clinton. I think that's Clinton goes against Bush. Still, look at red, 2000. Now go from 2000. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Blue, look at Obama. Blue, 2012, Obama. Blue, 2016 Hillary. Blue, look at that one right there. $3.1 billion. And then go to 24, Trump against, the number of money going to Republican candidates versus Democratic candidates.
What's that 206 million? Because obviously the Republicans got a lot more money than 206 million.
Go a little bit lower, Rob. This is Statista. Okay, go and look at the top so he can see exactly what the top is. Top spending of President Canada, majority political party from 1984 to spending. This is spending. Mm-hmm. So when you're looking at that kind of money that's coming in, why is special interest so interested in the Democratic Party? Is it because they're bought? Is it because they'll take money and do anything for them? Why are they putting more money on the other side? See, to me, when I'm looking at this, and the reason why I went back and asked you a question earlier, where I said, I had Rokana here, I'm like, what is left for you guys? Is it the fact that there's just more money coming to you? So because there's more money coming to you, it makes it seem like you guys got the policies? Or was the last 4 years during COVID so phenomenal because they went so aggressive on the offensive that the American people finally said, oh, I got you. No, we're not doing this anymore. You guys can give as much money as you want to her or him. I'm done. I don't care how much money you give them. I'm going this way, okay? I don't believe you guys anymore. I think all of you guys are bought on this side. You guys are for sale on this side. The moment Trump wins, Bill Gates has a 3-hour meeting with Trump. Zuckerberg goes over there. They all go. But this is very different, though.
And they're all going to donate.
And they did. A lot of them gave $1 million, $2 million for inauguration.
Absolutely, yeah.
Nowadays, more than ever, the brand you wear reflects and represents who you are. So for us, if you wear a Future Looks Bright hat or a Valuetainment gear, you're telling the world, I'm optimistic. I'm excited about what's going to be happening, but you're a free thinker. You question things. You like debate. And by the way, last year, 120,000 people got a piece of Future Looks Bright gear with Valuetainment. We have so many new things. The cufflinks are here. New Future Looks Bright. This is my favorite, the green one. Just yesterday, somebody placed an order for 100 of these. If you watch the PBD podcast, you got a bunch to choose from. White ones, black ones. If you smoke cigars and you come to our cigar lounge, we have this high quality lighter cutter and a holder for the cigars. We got sweaters with the Valuetainment logo on it. We got mugs. We got a bunch of different things. But if you believe the future looks bright, if you follow our content and what we represent with Valuetainment, with PBD Podcast, go to vtmerch.com. And by the way, if you order right now, there's going to be a special VT gift inside just for you. So again, go to vtmerch.com, place your order, tell the world that you believe the future looks bright. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.